Hi, Luke. Very good to see you. We are talking about some potential big changes coming to the Social Security COLA for 2023. There's speculation that the COLA could actually top 10%. And the driving force, of course, behind that is our old favorite topic here, inflation, right? Which hit 9.1% in June. That was a 40-year high. Luke, for retirees who are relying on Social Security, this isn't even keeping up with inflation. I mean, it's so tough.
Yeah, this is obviously, like you said, the driving force and one of the things that we've talked about a lot in the past. When it comes to the CPI workers, which is what the cost of living adjustments are based on for Social Security, historically, if we look at averages over the past 10 or 20 years, those cost of living adjustments aren't necessarily keeping up with what's going on inflation-wise. So this year, I know we discussed earlier, we got close to a 6% cost of living adjustment for 2022, which at the time seemed like the largest increase we had gotten in some time. On the flip side, you can see what's going on in inflation. And so for
Mhm.
people who are relying on Social Security for 90% plus of their retirement income, you can feel that squeeze a little bit now.
Right, absolutely. Now, Social Security is kind of an insurance agent against outliving your savings. The benefits are going to continue until you die, of course, but the sooner you claim, the less money you're going to get. And I always like to look at this little graph here, Luke, because it helps put it into perspective. Because, of course, figuring out when to claim Social Security is incredibly complicated.
It's incredibly complicated, and the situation is so much different for each retiree and for each family, frankly. And so, everyone's going to run their break even analysis. Here's where it works best for me to claim if I live to be this or this or this. I always like to say, if you know what that exit date is, you can decide exactly what to do.
Right.
Unfortunately, you have to make the decision based on some projections and everything else. And so you really have to decide what makes the most sense for you given your different sources of other retirement income outside of Social Security.
hmm Now, as of course, we know a lot of retirees rely on the 401ks or the IRAs, and you pay income taxes on 100% of every dollar you spend. But as far as Social Security benefits, up to 85% of your benefit is subject to the federal income tax. So, how does that factor into our decision?
I would say it's one of the biggest factors. We always like to say that Social Security is a tax preferred asset. It's not a taxable or tax free asset, and so you can play the game a little bit there of delaying your benefit. In the meantime, utilizing your 401k or your IRA balances in order to create your income because every dollar that's coming out of those is going to be taxable. And so by delaying your Social Security, taking some distributions earlier, you can kind of kick that tax can down the road. That way, when you get to your claiming age, maybe you don't have to pay taxes on all of your Social Security or up to 85%. Maybe you fall into a 50% bracket or even zero. And
Mm,
so that those do have big implications. Now, obviously, market events like we're seeing in the year 2022 have to play a factor there too. How protected are your 401k assets? How protected are your IRA assets? Because, like you said, you do know from a peace of mind perspective that Social Security will be there
mhm.
month to month.
Right. And I think the big takeaway here is there is no formula here to figure out when the most optimal time is to claim because everybody's different. Like you said, we don't know our exit date, so it can be very complicated. Look, if somebody would like to talk through figuring out their most optimal time to start claiming those benefits, what's the best way to reach you?
The best way to reach us would be by phone at 937-498-1128 or go to iconberryretirement.com. You can schedule an appointment with either advisor there. And I just want to note as we end this, you're not getting Social Security statements every year. So if you have not done it yet, ssa.gov, my Social Security portal, set up your username and password and make sure all of your earnings records are correct. And frankly, if you come in to see us for an analysis like that, that's super, super helpful for us to see as well.
Okay, that's a good heads up. Luke, thank you very much.
Thanks, Aaron.